the friends I've got from when I was 7 years old, I've still got now, and that's what rugby does to you. It gives you those group of friends that you just carry on for the rest of your life. But the first time I thought I could probably make a living out of it was I was about 17. But afterwards, when that final whistle went, it was genuinely one of the best feelings I've ever had in my career. We're a team that we don't give up easily. We fight tooth and nail when we play. We're a proper team. And to kind of work so hard for something, to win the championship and it all kind of come to an end is quite tough to take. The toughest thing to take is 3 weeks before that. Our chairman stood up the front and just said, "Listen, we're fine as a club financially. Don't worry about anything. We will be okay. We've got investors on board. Literally, do not worry." Yeah, it's just a bit frustrating to win second division and not get promoted into the Premiership. I mean, it's just tough. It's just tough for a couple of extra thousand seats. It's pretty nuts to me. Amateur sport in Jersey is very, very good. It's a lot of good sports people on the island. So if they get the funding and get the right coaching, we could have thousands of professional sports stars coming from Jersey.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Sportscast Jersey. Today we are joined by James Mitchell, formerly of Jersey Reds. How are we doing, James?
Good, thank you. How are you, Daniel? You all right?
Good, yeah, not bad, thanks, not bad. Before we come into what's happened over the last few weeks, kind of want to delve into the past of yourself, and I always ask the same question, whoever the guest is, but have you always been sporty since a young age?
Literally since I was born, I reckon. So dad was a PE teacher for 35 years. So you can't not be sporty when your dad's a PE teacher. So he actually lived down south whilst I lived up north. Parents split up quite when I was quite young. So, but I had two brothers. Obviously, a little one who's in the England squad now, and then an older one who's also a PE teacher now. So growing up, we were mad into sport. Every single sport that you could do, we did, and we'd make up games in the garden, and we can't sit still. I still can't sit still now, to be honest. So, but definitely sporty as a kid.
Yeah, definitely. When did rugby come into it? When do you remember the first time you kind of got introduced to rugby and got a rugby ball? Do you remember those days?
Yeah, under sevens at Limbleby Club up north. We used to train at this place called Appleton. And it was just like a post in the middle of a farmer's field, basically. And rocked up, and I just remember absolutely loving the sport. I had some really good coaches when I was younger that put really good sessions on, really made me kind of fall in love with the sport. And from then I was just kind of hooked on it, basically. And the friends I've got from when I was 7 years old, I've still got now, and that's what rugby does to you. It gives you those group of friends that you just carry on for the rest of your life. Quite a funny story, really. I mean, I think I was about under nines, and then Alex started at under sevens. He's 2 years younger than me. And he wanted to give it up straight away. He's like, "No, I can't do it. I don't want to play rugby anymore. This is rubbish." I think my mum at the time was like, "No, just stick with it. You'll be okay." Glad he did, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. When obviously you both made it, but yourself personally, when did you think, okay, I'm quite good at this. How can I make a kind of living out of it? When did you first think that was a possibility?
I don't know, because when I was kind of in the younger ages, so probably under 12s, under 13s, up until under 14s, I was in a lot of B teams. I wasn't actually like very good. I was still obviously mad into rugby. I always loved it. But to be an actually decent rugby player, I wasn't amazing. And then I think my dad said to me, he's like, "Listen, when you're under 14s, knuckle down, do as many skills as possible, really try work on your kind of rugby intelligence, if you like." And when I was probably about under 14s, under 15s, I just knuckled down for a year and really, really just concentrated on my rugby. And it kind of kicked on from there, really. But the first time I thought I could probably make a living out of it was I was about 17. I had a coach called Dave Wilkes, and he sat me down, and it's probably at the age where like you start having house parties and all that sort of thing. You get distracted. But he sat me down and listened. He said, like, "Listen, if you want a career out of this, you've got a chance." And and he was really good for me. Just kind of took me under his wing a little bit and helped me out in that regard. So probably about 17 when I was in the Sale Sharks Academy, and they really helped me kind of push on. And I signed my first contract, I think, on my 18th, just on my 18th birthday. Yeah.
Yeah, nice, nice. And you spoke about one there, but who were kind of your influences back then, coaches wise, and who played a big part of your early rugby career?
So my dad was kind of massive. So he'd come up pretty much, once a month or every other weekend to come watch me and Alex play rugby, and my older brothers play rugby. So he was a big influence. He played rugby when he was younger. So yeah, he was massive. He was always big into my skills, like work on your left hand path, watch rugby and all that, which was excellent. And then I had two coaches three coaches at Lim High School, Len, Lee, and Tom. Tom, the names are, and they were amazing with me at school. They gave me all the help I could need, and I was at a state school, wasn't at a private school or anything like that. It was a state school, which was all right at rugby, but those boys really helped me kick on.
Yeah, definitely. Let's touch on your brother just quickly. How proud are you to see what he's doing as well?
Yeah, very proud. I hate watching him play. I get very nervous. I get more nervous watching him than I do my own games. We're massively proud as a family. He's had some setbacks along the way. He's had two knee injuries, which kind of put him out for 9 months at a time. And I could just remember getting very frustrated with those injuries, and he was kind of not looking at giving it up because it's his dream and stuff like that. But you get frustrated with these long injuries, and for him to stick at it and kind of come through to fruition now is amazing. So he's very chilled out. He's a very chilled person. So he probably doesn't get nervous for the England games, but as a family we do massively.
Yeah, definitely. Bringing it back to you, when obviously you had a great career before the Reds, but I want to kind of swiftly move on to the Reds. And when did that move kind of come about, and how enticing was it, or bigger move was it for you to come to an island?
It was massive. I was at Doncaster previously for the COVID season. Signed there just to be kind of close to home. Kind of close to my family during COVID, which was a good move for me. But yeah, I was doing a lot of commuting. I was traveling about 2.5 hours to training, and it just affected my rugby. I really fell out of love with rugby. Really struggled there, to be honest. If I'm honest, I probably didn't just chuck as much of myself into it as I should have. With the commute, and I should have bought into the club more if I'm being honest. And I really fell out of love with rugby. And then I kind of spoke to Harvey. I've known Harvey for a good few years now. We've always been speaking when I've kind of been out of contract and stuff like that. And I approached Harvey myself actually and just said, listen, finishing off at Doncaster, not really got any options. Would you be keen to kind of take me on? And he was amazing, to be fair. He's straight away, he was like, okay, let's have a conversation. I had a conversation and he said, listen, the lifestyle out here is amazing. If you come to Jersey and buy into the island, it'll be good back to you. And yeah, as soon as had that conversation, it was a no-brainer to sign, really. I think lifestyle was, just something that I couldn't turn down. I came here and I loved it straight away. It's just an absolutely amazing island. Better than Warrington, definitely, where I'm
Yeah,
from. But yeah, it's been amazing, and I can't thank Harvey enough for kind of taking that risk on me because I wasn't playing good rugby at the time. But he took a risk on me, and he kind of showed a bit of faith in me. And at the end of the day, hopefully I kind of paid him back with a few performances over the 2 years.
yeah, definitely. And what a good 2 years on the pitch it's been for the team. Just describe firstly the Ealing game last year. Obviously that the whole season was big, but I want to touch on the last two games especially. And the Ealing game was a hell of a game, and going into it, you could feel the pressure, you could feel the tension around the place, but the excitement as well. But how did you guys deal with that game beforehand, and how much did you enjoy the game itself as well?
Didn't really enjoy the game. Just when you're playing games like that, you just kind of all hands on deck, real nervous. I kind of didn't enjoy the game, but afterwards, when that final whistle went, it was genuinely one of the best feelings I've ever had in my career. Atmosphere wise, I think there was about 3,500 people there, maybe close to four. And even with the rain, because at half time it was glorious sunshine, and then second half it was raining. the people kind of stood there and still watched the game, and the atmosphere was genuinely unbelievable. Yeah, at the stad. So yeah, it was just amazing. I mean, those couple of weeks were just amazing. We had Doncaster the week before, I think it was, and Bedford away, both games away, and we kind of was like, well, they're tough places to go get a victory. When we won those games, that's when we kind of like, do you know what, we might have a chance of winning the championship here. And that's when we kind of started to believe. But we got a good coach in Rob Webber. He kind of kept our feet very grounded. Kept kind of game by game, focus on the Ealing game, and then if we play Ampthill the next week, we focus on that game when we come to it. So he was really good. He's an unbelievable coach. I'm sure you'll get a good opportunity somewhere. So yeah, he was good to kind of keep us grounded during those times. But yeah, that Ealing game, when we won it, it was just genuinely unbelievable. And then all the lads that weren't involved, it just shows you how tight we are as a team. Yeah. All the lads that weren't involved, they were running onto the field, celebrating with us, and it was just such a good time. And to kind of celebrate that moment with the Jersey fans and the Jersey community as well was outstanding.
Yeah, and how big are those moments? Obviously, a lot of people just see the games themselves, but so much work goes on for 6 months more just to go into those moments, those 80 minutes, and how good is it to reach those achievements? Obviously, winning championship is brilliant. So how good, knowing how much work you guys put in as a team and the coaching staff and all the backroom staff put in, how good was that?
Just amazing. I mean, we're very, very hard working side. That's probably the frustrating thing to kind of come out of this whole kind of debacle, if that's the word. But we're a team that we don't give up easily. We fight tooth and nail when we play. We're a proper team. Yeah, and to kind of work so hard for something, to win the championship and it all kind of come to an end is quite tough to take, because like I said, we are a team that care. We care, and we love representing this island. It's such a good island to play for, and we genuinely love being on the island, representing the people of Jersey. And to kind of that to come to an end is actually like a real big shame. Like, boys are genuinely gutted that they can't play here anymore, live here anymore, just because they've got friends not just in rugby but outside of rugby in the community that they're gonna not see for a while now. So yeah, it's the hard work we put in did come to fruition at the end. So yeah, it was good. It was good to get some reward,
Yeah, for sure. You've touched on it there, and it's a big reason we're kind of here today to speak about what's happened. Describe the morning it all came kind of to your knowledge. You called into a meeting, and well, I'll let you describe it. And obviously, it's hard because people have to remember it's your jobs, not just a rugby club. So yeah, in your own kind of words, like describe what the feelings and the events were like.
So we were due to play Cornish on the Friday night. Real excited for that fixture. Love going down to Cornish, going down to the Mene. It's a good place to play. So really excited for that. And then we get a text in the morning at 6, just saying, listen, our chairman wants a meeting with us at 7:30. So we were like, originally I thought someone passed away. I just thought, okay, it's a bit of a tragedy in the club. Anyway, so rocked up there at 7:30. The lads that weren't playing, they weren't due to be in at, I think it was like 10 o'clock. So a few of the boys were still in bed. Yeah. We had to ring them and get them out of bed and whatnot. And then our chairman turned around and said, listen, we've ceased trading. One of our investors, I don't know whether it was investing or government, pulled out. So you won't be getting paid this month. Pretty much, I think it was 12 hours before we were due to get paid. So that was just really tough to take. And I think the toughest thing to take is 3 weeks before that, our chairman stood up the front and just said, listen, we're fine as a club financially. Don't worry about anything. We will be okay. We've got investors on board. Literally do not worry. And that was 3 weeks before that meeting. So to tell the boys that, and then 3 weeks later, right before payday, was pretty tough. I think the lack of communication is what we found really tough, because if they said this 3 months ago, said we're going to give you 50% wages and we're going to try work something out and get an investor in, at least we've got time to plan what we need to do, whether it needs to leave the island or start wrapping up leases on flats and selling our stuff. But the day before payday, just gave us no time whatsoever. And I don't think people realise how paycheck to paycheck boys were going, because, that sound like I'm waffling on here, but boys were boys came here to kind of boost their career. So they wouldn't take a big contract. They could probably go to France and get a bigger contract with more money, but they didn't. They came to Jersey because how good the opportunity is, how good the island is. So they came here with a little bit less money to kind of kick on their career and go back to the Premiership. So boys were genuinely going paycheck to paycheck, and to get told that you're not getting any money day before you get paid, that's tough to take. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it was complete shock to you that morning. What was the initial kind of reaction? Was it silence? Was it anger? What was it like?
Bit of both. Quite a bit of anger, to be honest. Just because we kind of got lied to. Yeah, I mean, Webbs and Harvey were good. They were just kind of asking the right questions and trying to help us out as much as possible. So yeah, just a lot of anger. Those boys in tears, which is just so so hard to see, because it was all just very raw. And you didn't know what to think. It's kind of a bit of a state of shock, really. Didn't really know what to think, and then an hour later, when all that meeting's done, you're just trying to think of loads of different things, whether I'm going to stay on the island, leave the island, go look for another contract, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, it's been a bit of time now for you to kind of reflect and it to kind of sink in and what have you. Obviously, the last few weeks there's been government debates, there's been all sorts of kind of finger pointing and what have you. But players wise and yourself, who do you blame the most, and who kind of like do you look at and think we deserve better than this?
I don't think I blame anyone, really. Well, yeah, blame's quite a strong word. I don't know if I blame anyone. I don't like that we got lied to 3 weeks before payday to say everything's going to be fine. I didn't like that. The players didn't like that. It's just, we did our bit on the field. We worked hard. We got results for the club, and then for the club to kind of lie to us 3 weeks before payday, like I said, I didn't like that. The lads didn't like that. It's just real frustrating. The RFU, obviously, again, frustrating being a part of the RFU or being in the league system of the RFU, because if we were allowed to get promoted last year, I think more investment would have come in from like businessmen on the island, because you've got the CVC money in the Premiership that helps kind of generate money, and you may maybe be in the black rather than the red. So yeah, I think the RFU is. I don't want to stick my head out too much and just say the RFU are not fit for purpose, but yeah, it's just a bit frustrating to win second division and not get promoted into the Premiership. I mean, it's just tough. It's just tough for a couple of extra thousand seats. It's pretty nuts to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, blame is a tough word, but yeah, I just didn't like the fact that we got lied to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously yesterday on social media we saw a lot of mental health posts and what have you. The last few weeks have been tough, and how tough have they been mentally for yourself and the players and all the staff involved?
It's been tough. I mean, it's just one of the things that in life you need purpose. Like you need to wake up and have a bit of purpose in your life, and if you've not got that, it's a tough life, and rugby was our purpose. Not getting too deep with it, but you wake up and you put everything into your rugby, and it's the same with any life, any walk of life, and you wake up, you chuck everything into your work, and kind of that's your purpose, whether it be, I don't know, even with sport, and kind of, badminton's your purpose, and that's what you love doing, and just to lose that straight away like that was quite tough to take. So yeah, I think that's what boys have been struggling with. In terms of kind of places to stay, finances and stuff like that, I can't thank the Jersey community enough. They have genuinely been unbelievable. It's been so heartwarming for the Jersey and the rugby community to all come together and help us out. I mean, people were offering bedrooms, fridges full of food, a few beers in there, and they just come forward, and it's just been genuinely amazing. And I can't thank the community enough for that. They've made a really bad situation way better just because they've offered their help. So yeah, that's made it a little bit easier, definitely. So yeah, thank you everyone.
No, brilliant. That was going to be one of my next comments, and you could see it on social media. You could see it in the gatherings, both at the club and in town, that people really do care. And um, obviously there was comments from some um ministers and what have you in the debates that uh I kind of want to touch on as well about how there was one where one of them said that Reds actually could have hindered the uh, local rugby and what have you. What what was the kind of response to that from yourself and from the players?
Um, yeah, bit of a mixed one, really. I mean, yeah, I didn't see the full kind of like I don't know the full context of that basically, so I can't really comment on it that much. But I feel like as a rugby club, you know, we won the championship. We put kind of Jersey on the map in terms of rugby, um, and hopefully we inspired a few children on the island, a few kids on the island to kind of kick on and take rugby up as a sport. It's like I touched on before. It's genuinely amazing sport with the rugby community, your friends you make and stuff like that. So hopefully you kind of inspired a generation of young rugby players to kind of come and push on and make rugby their career and make it their passion.
Yeah, definitely. Before we move on from to how you're involved in the local game a bit more, but I wanted to touch on Harvey and Rob and how good have they been the last few weeks? Harvey, especially in setting up the fun, setting up, making sure everyone's heard and all the players got seen to straight away. And he seems, in my eyes, he's gone above his coach and what's asked of him, and he's made sure as a human that you're all okay. Just how good has both he and Rob been?
Been very good to be fair. They've been checking up on boys. They've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes to try, you know, get that lifeline for the club, which is what we were kind of hoping for. It didn't really come through, but yeah, behind the scenes they've been working really hard and checking up on the boys, which has been good, you know. Yeah, it's tough in this situation, especially because you know they're the kind of coaches and you know they're at the top and you know they care for us if we've got an injury or anything like that. So yeah, they step forward like really well. And we do thank them for that. And same with like so many people on the island. Like I want to thank Hawk Group for you know they kept step forward and paid our September wages. Yeah, just like so many people like that, just kind of coming forward and helping us. And yeah, Webbs and Harvey have definitely helped in that regard as well. Big time, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to how you've helped out on the island and your coach and with the Colts. How much have you enjoyed that, and how much do you enjoy helping those boys develop their game?
Love it, genuinely love it. Like I said, it's amazing. Those boys like they crack me up. They're good lads. It's funny. I mean, you know, sometimes in rugby you don't get selected for games, and you know that's part of rugby. Or you have a bad training session, you make a mistake, and then on a Monday and Wednesday night I go to coach training, and those boys are just doing it for the love of it, and they're just chucking a ball around, having fun, and it just takes your mind off it, and it kind of really grounds you. It's like, well, that's what rugby's about, having fun, isn't it? Yeah, and I genuinely love working with those boys. I mean, I've had lads that I coached last year reach out and ask if I need any help and just thanking me for my work. And it's so rewarding. It's genuinely amazing. Yeah, so I thank those boys as you know, like I said, I've thanked a lot of people now, and those boys definitely I've got to thank because they put a smile on my face in a tough time. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good stuff. And um, another minister's kept on saying, well, they all kept on saying that amateur sport is where we need to support, and how much, knowing your involvement with the Colts and the other rugby teams about on Ireland, how important is that?
It's massively important. I mean, the rugby club now have got to inherit bills and stuff that they wouldn't normally have to kind of fork out and pay. So there needs to be kind of like funding put there. Um, there needs to be a pathway for young rugby players to get to the top level. Hopefully, the rugby club can get promoted, you know, in the next couple of seasons and create that pathway. But there's so many good sportsmen on the island. I mean, I've always said this: Jersey sport is very accessible. You know, if you want to go play, I don't know, lacrosse, dodgeball, softball, it's 15 minutes away. So you've got so many good sportsmen on the island, and it's you know trying to create a pathway for those lads to get into professional rugby and and have a really successful career. So that's the big thing. And yeah, just making sure they've got a pathway to play pro rugby. It is massive. That funding, probably will have to come from the government, hopefully, to kind of create those opportunities for the young rugby players on Ireland, and even sports people, like amateur sport in Jersey's very, very good. It's a lot, like I said, a lot of good sports people on the island. So if they get the funding and get the right coaching, we could have thousands of professional sports stars coming from Jersey.
Yeah, definitely. Well said. Final kind of question today, James, from me. What's next for you personally? Obviously, a lot of the lads have moved off Ireland now, have been kind of forced out and gone to new clubs and what have you, or back home. What's the plan for you? What do you know what's next?
Yes, so I've taken a couple of weeks to kind of sit back and figure out what I want to do. And my partner, Grace, she's been amazing during this time. And then she's got a really good job in Jersey. She's loving her job. She loves the people she works with. She's made really good friends there. So we want to stay on the island. So I've turned down a few contracts just purely because I think I've made a home for myself here. I love the people, I love the island, I love the summers, I even love the winters, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to stay on the island, hopefully get into kind of coaching and the teaching avenue, because I can't sit still. That's just me. So hopefully really kind of put myself into that and really try and make a difference on the island, basically. Like I said, I made a home for myself here, so really try to get into the teaching and coaching avenue.
Yeah,
definitely.
Is that rugby done for you then, playing wise?
Potentially. I'd like, hopefully if the rugby club need me to kind of fill in, I'll definitely fill in. Yeah, if they need like a spare number, I'll play. But I think 6 months definitely. I'll probably not play rugby. But to be honest, mate, I'll probably miss it next week and I'll be straight back in. So yeah, who knows? I'm just taking a little bit of time to kind of think about what I want to do. I mean, we've got a little bit of time now with Hawk Group stepping in and paying our September wages and the relief fund. So yeah, that's just giving boys a little bit of time to kind of sit back and really figure out what they want to do, because it is tough. Like boys have just chucked everything into rugby for the last 10 years. And then next minute they're talking about, getting into finance. So I don't know if I want to do finance. So at least we've got a bit of time now to kind of figure out what we want to do,
Yeah, definitely. James, thank you for coming on and your time and speaking to us so openly about what's happening. And obviously, I know it's tough. I know the last few weeks have been terrible for you guys. So yeah, thank you for your time and speaking to me.
Thank you as well, mate. You've been a massive help. Your Twitter page and your Instagram page has really shed a light on kind of us. So no, I really appreciate that. And like I said, thank you for the Jersey community, the rugby community. You've been a massive help, and hopefully us boys that staying on the island can repay you somehow. Definitely.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers, mate.
Thanks,
Great.
Daniel.
That was another episode of Sportscast Jersey. Thank you for everyone who's watched or listened. Another episode is coming soon.